Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Hey, welcome to your third favorite podcast, the Steve and Crypto Show, presented by thestevestrout.com. This is episode 173, and on this episode, I am chatting with a guest, a gentleman named Dennis Daniel. He is a film critic. He directs commercials and advertising. He's a writer. He's done radio, done voice work. He's done a little bit of everything in the world of entertainment, and particularly a horror aficionado. He's encyclopedic. He has a vast knowledge of horror films, especially like B horror and 70s grindhouse foreign. He knows his shit. He's written books about it that you guys should check out. The conversation, we discussed it, and you'll learn all about him here in a minute. He's just, like I say, he's a dude I've known for a while on social media, and we ended up both working on the same project, so we connected and started chatting and stuff, and I really wanted to get him on the show. He's one of those easy guests, that you could just set him up a question and he just goes off and is a great talker. And he really schooled me. I learned a freaking lot. He brought up a lot of movies that I hadn't seen and sort of left me some homework. I got a list I got to dive in here as soon as I can. But before we get to that conversation with Dennis Daniel, I got to remind you guys how you can support your third favorite podcast. Ways to support Steve and Crypto Show are one, of course, spreading the word, leave ratings, leave reviews, share the episodes, all that stuff. Make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcast player or wherever you listen. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Good Pods, all everywhere. So make sure you're showing love on all them apps and everything. Make sure to follow Crypto Zoo and myself on all the social medias. He's Crypto Zoo 88. I am the Steve Strout. We're both everywhere. I even post on freaking TikToks with all the kids and throwing up little clips from concerts and Halloween excursions and hunting and stuff, because that's my jam. We love that shit here in Halloween. We love that shit here on the Steven Crypto Show, not on Halloween, but I guess it always feels like Halloween here. Speaking of, we usually do our Halloween blowout every year here on the Steven Crypto Show. What do you guys want to do this year? What do you guys think we should do? We stick with what we do, the variety show thing, couple different guests, music, etc. Let us know. I just told you how to find us on social media. Let us know. Reach out. Say hey. If you have something you're working on, let us know. We'd love to promote you. If we dig it, we'll talk about it. Back to way to support the show. Merch. We got merch. We have a whole page full of merch. Go to Etsy and search for Steven Crypto Show. Merch page will pop up. There's a couple t-shirts, mugs, tote bags, magnets, coasters. There's a hoodie up there. All kind of cool stuff. And then, of course, if you catch us at a convention that we're appearing at, we have a little different variety of merch. But this fall, when we do shows, I'll have some t-shirts and a couple other things at the booth. So you can get them from us there too. But if you don't want to wait, of course, Etsy, Steven Crypto Show, check the merch page. And I usually run sales on there. I'll knock 10 or 15% off around this time of year. It's about in the middle of spooky season, so I'll get that going pretty soon. Keep you guys posted. So it's the favorite way, if you want more than what we're offering here in the show, we got a Patreon set up. Patreon.com/SteveCrypto. Over there, we are kind of letting you guys a little more into our lives outside of just talking about horror movies and guests, people creating in the horror business. Over there, we'll do different things. Sometimes Crypto Zoo and I will spoil a movie, or he'll talk about a family outing, or either one of us will post concert clips and stuff. We just like to bring you different content and see different sides of our lives, because we look at you guys like friends. You guys are friends. You guys are a spooky fam. So we like to do stuff over there for you. And of course, it's Patreon, so it's, pledge based. You could subscribe for little as $1 a month. And there are, free options. They're a little more limited on what you get in there. But $1 a month or more, of course, goes a long, long way. I mentioned a few minutes ago seeing us at conventions and stuff. Like, a lot of times we get invited to conventions. They hook us up, take care of us, but we usually got to get our butts there. That's gas money. Little things like Patreon and stuff like that help us with that. It helps us upgrade, stuff we need. We need to grab new mic cables, or we need this, that, or the other thing. Little things. It all goes back into the show and helps the show. It helps us grow and be better. Last thing I'd like to mention is our Facebook group. I should have mentioned when I was talking about social media, but I'm telling you now. Facebook group, there's a ton of members in there and a lot of really interactive people. We're all in there posting stuff in like horror and pop culture. A lot of people posting their projects they're working on, whether it be movies or a comic book or anything. If it relates to horror and you keep drama out of there, you're more than welcome to post in there. We'd love to have you. Of course, we promote the shit out of the Stephen Crypto Show there, so please, it's another place to interact with us. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us about your creative friend that's making a new next big horror movie that we should interview or something. Just go do that. Those are all ways you could support us and promote us, which we appreciate you guys more than you realize. But let's get to the guest. I'm not going to ramble too much. Flying solo right here at the intro of this episode. So I'm going to shut up and run the conversation I had recently with Dennis Daniel. And let me know what you think about it. Dude's awesome. I love the dude's energy, his enthusiasm, and his freaking knowledge is like through the roof. And I felt like a pupil by the end. I felt like I was in class and I just got learned by a professor or something. But he's a good dude, man. Fun to talk to. Like I said, I love his energy. It reminds me of home, being a Northeast guy. Anyways, I'll shut the hell up. Let's meet Dennis Daniel, and then I will be back to say goodbye.
Hello, patients. This is your friend, Dr. Dread.
Okay.
We are from Dr. Dread Reviews. Right now, you're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show.
Steve and Crypto.
Back to the Steve and Crypto Show.
Hey, I'm Felissa Rose, Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and you're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. Yeah!
All right, Steve and Crypto listeners, I have a friend here that's joining us. He's a guy who've been buddies on social medias for a little while now. Kind of have same friend circles on the Facebooks and Instagrams and whatnot, wherever you hang out and do all that social media bullshit. Uh, it's a gentleman named Dennis Daniel. He's a filmmaker. He's an author. He does just about everything. And the one thing that drew me to this guy is he's a big horror fan, and he is one of those people that are out there promoting not only himself and all his work, which he's going to tell us what he does, but he promotes other people like crazy, and he just loves the genre, and it reminds me of me, but I know he's been doing it a couple more years than I have. He's made a career of it, and I'm just an old rookie, I guess, or
You're
something.
just a sapling.
Just a sapling. But
You're just a zygote.
there you go. And so Dennis, welcome to
Hey.
the Stephen Crypto Show.
Oh, thank you for asking me to partake, my friend. I'm so happy to be here. As far as what I do, I always call what I am a low budget celebrity. Those people that know, know, and the ones that don't, they find out one way or another. God knows that there's enough things out there in the world that are, distracting people. So to have any kind of recognition whatsoever, is pretty cool. And I guess the reason why I have an audience is because I have been doing it a long time. I've been writing about horror movies since the 1980s. I started off writing in a magazine called Deep Red. Have you ever heard of Deep Red?
I have heard of it. I've never read it.
Okay, Deep Red was, this was during the era in the mid 80s, during the beginning of the tremendous amount of fanzines that were being created, but fanzines that were like a step above, that weren't just some Xerox thing that was stapled and left at the local, deli to see if people will read it or something. It was published by Fantico Enterprises, so it wasn't just done by an individual, it was by a company. There was a tremendous amount of distribution in those days. So the magazine got distributed all over the world, and it grew quite a reputation. It was the editor's name was Chaz Balin, who is a legend amongst horror fans. Anybody that loves horror knows who Chaz Balin is. And he wrote, it all started with him with this little pamphlet he wrote called The Gore Score. He did this little self-published pamphlet that was amazing because the way that he talked about the films was just so engaging and fun and cool. He was like a California hippie, but the way that he wrote was just like you felt like you were part of this really cool club just reading Chaz's work. And so he had done this pamphlet that was getting a lot of press, and it was written about even in Fangoria. It was this little self-published thing that he did. And so eventually, who was working in radio at the time, had a show called People, Places, and Things, and I loved horror, and I read Fangoria, and I read about this pamphlet, and I thought, hey, he'd be a real interesting guy to talk to. So I got in touch with him, and I interviewed him on the radio, and we became friends. And not too long after that, he started Deep Red, and he said, hey, Dennis, you want to write for me? And that's kind of like how it got started. And, it got to a point where it had an incredible reputation among fans and also in the industry. Like I was the first person that ever did a full, like, career spanning, long, detailed, intense interview with Tom Savini. And this is like in the midst of his fame, like right after Day of the Dead. When he was like the god of,
Man, yeah.
he still is, obviously, but he stepped away from the makeup, even though he has a school and he does do does do things occasionally. Like more recently he designed the mask for the Black Phone, the mask that the guy wears. I think it's Ethan Hawke
Yep.
is in Black Phone. Yeah. I didn't really like that film at all. That film didn't do anything for me. Everyone's making such a big fucking deal
I
out of
I I much I love horror, it's one of those things when like the studio movie comes out like that. It's
it.
like
Right.
it's kind of like a flavor of the week thing.
Yeah.
Whatever's out that week, everybody is on it. Like, oh, this is the best thing this year.
Oh!
Next
Right.
week, whatever comes out, and yeah, it didn't really do much for me either. But have you seen the trailer for part two?
Yeah, I think that it might be one of those situations where like Smile, the sequel to Smile was better than the original
Yeah,
film. How
yeah,
strange is that? But that does happen.
yeah.
But I'm not I'm not drawn to a lot of big releases per se. Sometimes something sneaks through that blows your fucking mind that you can't even believe a studio did this.
Yep.
Or put it to you this way, that the studio did it right, you know?
That's the thing, man.
Um, anyway, before I wanted to just finish my Deep Red story. So what happened was that after I was writing for Deep Red, I started being asked to write for a bunch of different magazines. And this led eventually to me doing a book about famous monsters of Filmland magazine called The Famous Monsters Chronicles. That once again was published by Fantico, the same people that published Deep Red. And that was incredible because that was like about the history of Famous Monsters magazine. I interviewed so many people, bro. You have no idea. And it was wonderful. And and that so I really and then that led to me being a zombie in the remake of Night of the Living Dead, a flesh-eating zombie in the remake of Night of the Living Dead, because Tom Savini and I became friends.
Right? He
And so
directed it, and
when he did Night of the Living Dead, he said, "You want to be a zombie? Do I want to be a
yeah,
zombie? What are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, I want to
yeah,
be a zombie. But I not only do I want to be a zombie, I want to be a flesh-eating zombie because there's only one flesh-eating scene in Night of the Living Dead, believe it or not. It's only one. That's
right,
after
right.
the truck blows up.
Yep, yep.
So I had to be in that scene. So to this day, there are fans that like the original, the 1990 Night of Living Dead more than the original. And like that's their Night of the Living Dead. That's the one they grew up with.
Right.
So I've got fans now from that. I'm the flesh-eating zombie from Night of Living Dead. So that turned into something for me too. And then I recently wrote a book called The Horror, a film fanatic's obsession with the cinema of the macabre. And it's basically a book of reviews, essays, interviews about horror and macabre films. And then I even have a guest section where some of my writer friends in the genre wrote pieces as well. So and that did very well. It got nominated for a Rondo,
Very
which
cool.
I don't know if you know what a rondo is.
It's we've been up for Rondo the
So there you
last
go.
four
Yeah.
years.
So
Yeah.
so that's a pretty nice thing. I mean, if you get nominated for a rondo, then that's obviously, there are some people that say, awards are bullshit. All right, fine. Awards are bullshit. Fine. Great. Well, I didn't do anything to get nominated, and somebody nominated me, and I'd rather be nominated than not. If you say, now I've been nominated twice. I got nominated last year for an interview I did with Eileen Dietz, who played Pazuzu in The Exorcist in Delirium, that's the last thing is I was going to say is that I also write a column for Delirium called Here's Blood in Your Eye. No, no, no. That was my column in Deep Red. I'm sorry. My column in Delirium is The Blood is the Life. Excuse me.
See that you do so much, sometimes it gets jumbled.
There you
I
go.
get it. I
But
get
getting
it.
back to what we were saying about films and right now. So when something happens and they get it right, wow, that I love. Like some recent ones. I thought the first Omen was amazing. It was a beautiful prequel to The Omen. It was almost a nunsploitation movie. Did you see it?
I'm trying to recall if I watched that. I'm pretty sure I did, but it's
Oh,
I got an old man memory.
it's magnificent. It's
Yeah.
magnificent.
I'll
It's
have to go
mag.
rewatch it just in case.
It's mag fucking nificent. It's excellent. First Omen, excellent. And then you have something like The Exorcist, whatever the fuck they called it, which was absolutely horrendous.
Oh, the
Horrendous in every way.
that sequel trash thing they made. Yeah,
Horrifyingly
that was awful.
horrendous.
I think some of the best stuff has been some of the more original things, like Long Legs. Long Legs was awesome. Love that.
Long Legs. I'm a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous fan of Terrifier. I love Art the Clown. I love Damien Leone because he does all the effects. He does he and the effects are on camera effects.
Yep.
And people don't realize that's a miracle. That's old school, baby.
Yeah.
And he's so clever, and he comes up with the most amazing kills I've ever seen.
That's the appeal I find in it.
I love it. I love it. I don't give a fuck about the story.
Yeah, no, it just reminds me, it brings me back to those great 80s slashers.
It's wonderful.
The stories were kind of meh, but those kills are what sucked you in and just grabbed you, and you love it, and you just constantly find yourself wondering, like, oh, how did they do that? Like, what, you know what I mean?
He's
you know exactly what I mean.
Fantastic character. He's a fantastic character, and I love him.
Oh yeah.
And, now he's successful. Now he's part of the horror lexicon. He's a horror icon now.
Yeah.
He's reached that level where he's right up there with everybody else.
Yep.
And that's an incredible achievement. That's an incredible achievement.
Just from a crowdfunded indie movie. Yeah.
You know how many people would die for something like that have done, good independent movies? There's even been some other independent films about clowns. Did you ever see that film called Clown about the guy that can't get the makeup off?
No, I've never heard of that one. Really, Clown. I'm over here taking
Clown.
notes.
It's just called Clown. It's just called Clown. And it's fucked up. It's fucked up. Yeah, it's great. But so that, so I've been enjoying that. I'm a very big fan of Robert Eggers. I think Robert Eggers is a genius, an absolute genius. I loved The Witch. I love, 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 love The Lighthouse. I thought The Northman was an unbelievable Viking epic that was just like, I couldn't even believe he got it made. And then Nosferatu completely blew me away. Nosferatu blew me away so much, I went back and saw it again the next day.
Yeah, that was
when Nosferatu ended, I had tears. Going down my face. Yeah. And I have it on Facebook because I show myself with the credits rolling, saying and of course, now that time has gone on and all of the surprises about the way he looks and all that stuff have since, everybody knows now.
Yeah.
And there's all these assholes that are all about, all right, doesn't look like the other Nosferatu. Why's he got the mustache? Idiots. Well, people like what they like. Maybe it's wrong for me to say idiots. Yeah. It's probably better for me to say misinformed.
Idiots works here.
They're idiots.
Idiots.
It is a masterpiece. And when you look at a lot of the behind the scenes stuff and you see how absolutely insane the details were, right down to what a fucking doily looks like. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was magnificent in every way. I thought Depp, she was incredible. She was incredible. She reminded me of like a Barbara Steele.
Right.
You know who Barbara Steele is?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
She had that kind of iconic, she's got a face like nobody else, that round face.
Yeah. She fit the image that you think of from that time period. Like she looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lily Rose Depp, she should have got an Oscar nomination as far as I was concerned. She was unbelievable. The way she contorted her body, the faces she made, and just, I mean, I thought it will, as time goes on, it's already happening now, but as time goes on, that will go down as one of the greatest, one of the greatest performances in any horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think it already is. But trying to think of other movies that have been in the last few years that were really stood out to me. Even recently, Sinners. Did you watch that?
I had a lot of problems with Sinners.
Did you?
Yes, I did. First of all, I thought it took way too long to get started and to decide what the fuck it wanted to be. Because when I went into it, because there was so much hype about it, I'm very, very wary of hype. So I was like, I don't want to know anything about it.
Right.
All I knew is what I saw on the poster, and I said, "Oh, okay, this is what they're calling these days, black horror." I don't, whatever.
Yeah, it's horror. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because of all of this stuff that's been going on lately with horror films with black actors. Um, so the Jordan Peele stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so I said, okay, fine. I really couldn't get a sense of what was going on from the poster, really. It was just like a bunch of people. I didn't know what was going on. All right, so it looks like in the beginning, like it's a film about these entrepreneurs who either escaped prison or escaped hard times or did something illegal or robbed a bank, or I don't remember exactly. They did something where they ended up with a lot of money.
Yep.
And they're using the money to build this dance hall type place where they could play the blues and do whatever. So that was basically the story. And then all of a sudden at the end there were vampires. And it was almost like From Dusk Till Dawn backwards. In the sense that in From Dusk Till Dawn, they were caught in the place and had to try to escape the vampires. In this one, they were caught inside and they couldn't go outside because of the vampires, because the vampires couldn't come in unless you invited them in. It had a lot of very strange. I mean, I will give it credit for trying. I mean, it's a very well put together production as far as
Right.
the quality.
Visually, it looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also thought it was very dark. A lot of the scenes in the club and everything, especially the vampire attacks and stuff, very dark. I couldn't even see what was going on. Right. So in the long run, it didn't impress me at all. I didn't like it at all. Not at all. But
see, I just felt like it was. I just felt like it was. I was watching different movies, multiple movies.
Right? Yeah, as I
that
said,
first part
doesn't know what it wants to be,
and then boom, yeah, then it got dark, and it was like if it was like just the vampire stuff, it would have been pretty badass, or it could have been just a decent, period piece about bootleggers or criminals or whatever they were, and it would have been a decent movie in that way. But then they mashed them together and did that whole weird musical number in the middle, which that's what kind of threw me. Like, what is happening? That was awkward. That took me out of it for a minute, but then they sucked me back in.
A lot of people are saying like that this film, for those that don't like it, this film will eventually, become beloved by those that didn't like it the first time, because you need to see it a couple of times to really kind of like get all the different, nuances and flavors that no, I don't need to see it a second time. get the
I
nuance.
needed to grab me the first time to make me want to come back and find all the nuances and little
Right.
things I miss.
Yeah.
Like you
I mean,
say, Nosferatu, like that dragged you back in, and you started noticing even deeper, like you say, like the set design, like the just the set pieces, and you mentioned the doilies and stuff. Like
yeah.
you start noticing that more when you dive more into it, but you wanted to because it sold you on that first bite sold you. Not you don't need to go back. Let me taste it again and see. Let me get a second opinion. Like no, you either you
No,
love it from the get
it
go
blew me
or
away. It
yeah.
blew me away, bro. It absolutely, I thought it was magnificent. And now I'm a little bit worried because now he's going to do a werewolf movie. And I'm like,
Mm.
Robert, you
See.
started off with a really, really great, folk horror film, awesome folk horror film. Then you did The Lighthouse, which is unlike anything anyone has ever done. The Lighthouse doesn't even have, you can't even call it a genre. The Lighthouse is a entity in and of itself. Its originality is so mind-boggling that it stands on its own merits. Then, the Northman, some people might find that rough going because it's a very, it's Vikings and it's really not horror,
Right.
but it's a great and well-made film. And then he
It
does
was
Nosferatu.
the,
Do something different, Robert. You're doing werewolves.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little frightened about that.
Right.
Everybody
Right.
keeps trying to make werewolf movies, and
And
they
they're
none
failing.
of them are good. None
Yeah.
of them are good.
Yeah. This like the Wolfman they did last year,
The
the year
fuck
before.
was
That was
that?
awful, awful, awful.
I don't know. I don't know. I just like for the most part the corporate stuff. And then Ari Aster was someone that I had a lot of high hopes for because I loved Heredity and I loved Midsommar.
Right.
But he's gone off the beaten trail now. He wants to do other kinds of movies like the Bow film and what he just recently has done. I forgot the name of it. It's getting a lot of praise, and I do want to see it because it's him.
Right.
But even if these guys, even if Ari Aster and Robert Eggers never make another good movie again, they've made some films that are going to last till the end of time.
Yep. Yep.
Heredity is fabulous. Um, Talk about other newer films. Where Evil Lurks, I really liked.
Right.
Have you seen that?
That's on my list. It's one
Dude.
of the ones I'm one of those guys that'll turn on the my TV and just start scanning and take 2 hours to find something to watch. And I'm like, I should watch that. And then something else grabs me. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
That's
But
why I
that's
love
one of
it.
the ones.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Well,
ones on the list.
that's why I love it when I know what I want to watch.
Yeah.
I know what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah.
Because God knows, I mean, I own thousands of movies and I'll be staring at them going, I don't know what the
That's
fuck I want to watch. I
usually
have
where I'm at.
no idea what I want to watch. The choices are so many, my head's exploding. And then
Yeah.
I get on Jags. I'll be on a Jess Franco Jag. And I watch nothing but like during the pandemic, I watched nothing but Jess Franco movies for about a year because there's so many.
Right.
And what
Right.
was so weird was, are you familiar with Jess Franco, by the way?
Um, Tell me something he's done popular or not.
Oh, dude, if I'm saying his name and you don't know who he is, then
Yeah,
there's no way I'm
that's
going to be
it's
able to tell you.
probably not.
Jess
But
Franco is one of the
and
greatest filmmakers who ever lived. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records for making more movies than anyone else. And he made absolutely astonishing horror movies. Um, he worked in every genre, including porn. He
right.
so he's his first big breakthrough film was a movie called The Awful Dr. Orloff.
See,
I hear crickets.
I know the name.
All right. Well, you better do your
Oh,
fucking
look,
dude.
I got,
Jess Franco is like,
I
yeah,
I'm taking notes. I'm in school right
if you're
now.
gonna be doing if you're gonna be doing Jess Franco, you gotta these are the movies you gotta go to right away. You gotta go to Female Vampire, which is his masterpiece. You gotta go to The Erotic Rites of Frankenstein. Uh you gotta go to The Awful Dr. Orloff.
Right.
That's definitely one you gotta do.
I know of that one.
Well, if you had my book, which I don't think you do,
I have
I have a whole list
I have
on
one coming.
I have a whole list. So when the book comes, just look at my Jess Franco page. I give you a whole list. But those are those just, another
Um,
one of his masterpieces is a film called A Virgin Among the Living Dead.
Okay.
Now we know who Lucio Fulci is, do we not?
Of course. Of course.
Okay. Do we know who Joe D'Amato is?
I know. Yes.
Okay. I'm just checking you out here because the other thing with
Checking.
me is that I find infinitely more enjoyment watching horror films from the 70s and early 80s than I do anything that's been done relatively recently, especially once videotapes came out and once people just started banging out movies and putting them direct to video, or like now there's just such a glut of crap. You go to these apps and you see nothing but all these horror movie titles, and you look at them all and you go, they're all awful.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said anything about them. No one's ever done it. It's just like there's just too many, and it's not the same world. It's just not the same world.
Right.
When Fulci was doing his stuff, that stuff was playing in drive-ins. I saw Zombie in a drive-in, dude.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, you know
That
what
is
I
pretty
mean?
awesome. Yeah.
So that and those that's my favorite horror film is Lucio Fulci's Zombie, or as it's known as Zombie 2.
Right.
And I say that only because writing about horror movies, I'm constantly asked that. Like when I get interviewed, what's your favorite horror movie?
Yep.
So I have to have an answer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always a question. Um. So you mentioned your book. Tell us a little more about that. You just
Well, it's as I said, it's an omnibus collection of movie reviews, mostly films that maybe people have never heard of, so I could turn them on to them. Uh, Interviews. I interviewed David Lynch. I interviewed Julie Adams, who was the girl in the original Creature from the Black
creature. Yep.
Lagoon.
Yep.
Um, I interview a lot of makeup guys. Tom Savini is in there as well. My interview with Tom. And a bunch of essays about a whole bunch of different films, longer, like, I did an essay about Rob Zombie, for example.
Right.
I adore his trilogy. I love House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, and Three from Hell.
Yeah.
But my favorite of the three is The Devil's Rejects. I think The Devil's Rejects he'll never be able to top it.
No.
Because it was just so perfect. It was a perfect homage to 70s exploitation horror films, but done with the wholly original story. It's just and having all of those old time actors in it, like Sid Haig and Ken Foray and
Yep.
and everybody that's in it. It's magnificent. I love it.
That is it's a special one for sure. Um. So with this stuff in the book, is it all original to the book, or was this some things you
There's
picked
there's
from other?
there's I would say there's a great mishmash of stuff that's original to the book. Most of the movie reviews are original to the book, and that's 80% of the book.
Okay.
Other stuff is reviews and interviews that I did in the past, but the full version of it, not the edited version for the magazine, you know. So it's the full, like the Tom Savini is a perfect example. Even though when I did it, it was long. It was actually twice as long.
Right. And that was the good old days when you had to transcribe everything.
That's
Well,
right.
I remember those days. I started doing this stuff before the podcasting days, and I used to have to, do the phone interview and
Yep. Yep.
type out an hour-long interview, and then I found podcasting and was like, holy crap, this is
Yeah. Well, I don't mind it. I think it's important to be able to edit and get it to
yeah,
flow properly.
right,
Because when people talk, there's a lot of ums and ahs and oohs and a lot of knows. People don't. But when you do it when you transcribe it, you can get rid of all that shit and just get to the meat and potatoes.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, but
Well,
anyway, so that's the book. And if anybody's interested, they can contact me directly and I'll get you a cop. They're $30 plus shipping. And my email address is kinskylove9@gmail.com, which would be like Klaus Kinski, 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 then the word love, LOVE, then the number 9, kinskylove9@gmail.com. If you're interested in the book, send me an email and we could talk.
definitely, you guys listening, check the book out. Like you see, I'm obviously getting an education from him here, just chatting with him. The book is so much deeper and so much more in there to learn from and just use like a reference, like you said. You want to think of, I need a movie to watch tonight. What am I going to watch? Flip through
Right.
his book, boom, let's watch this one. I, that's why I like books like that for that reason right there.
I'll tell you what, let me go grab it. I'll read you an interview. So a review, a short review, so you can see the
Yeah,
style.
for sure. For sure.
So you already ordered a copy, Steve?
I did order one from you. Yep.
And just waiting for the publisher to. He had major surgery, so I'm waiting for him to
Right.
heal up. Okay. See if I can find something to read here that would be.
So you got to wait for the publisher to heal up. You get
Well,
your
yeah,
book
he
so you can
he
sell them. So then you could go get your surgery, and then you could heal up.
right. That's the way it
The
works.
teamwork, the cycle. Yeah.
He had neck surgery, very
Ooh,
scary
yikes!
neck
Yikes!
surgery, but he's the one that does the ordering. So I have to wait till he
Yeah, is
heals up.
up
But
for it. Right.
everybody's being kind. They know they'll get it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to see what I can read here for you that gets across. All right. So there's a lot of movies out there that have reputations for being way over the top, above and beyond. One of these is a film called A Serbian Film.
Right.
You've heard of it.
Oh yeah.
You've seen it.
I've avoided it.
Ah, you've avoided it. All right.
Yeah.
Even better. So let me read you my review of A Serbian Film. A Serbian Film, 2010, directed by Sidjan Spazjovic. Holy fucking shitballs. I have finally seen a Serbian film. Astonishing. But it's not for most people, like 99% of most people. Disturbing doesn't begin to describe it. You have to take it within the context of why it was made and its allegorical nature. Contains, without a doubt, some of the most blasphemous, horrifying scenes and ideas ever filmed, and in 4K, no less. Now, mind you, this is no slap together, low budget exploitation piece of shit. It is incredibly well made, well paced, well thought out, well written, well shot, well acted. There is much craft to admire and real on-camera effects that will freeze your soul. I had heard so much about it from my Splat Pack friends for so long. It finally came out on Blu-ray this year. Please understand, this is all in capitals. I am not recommending this film to anyone other than 1000% hardcore, intelligent, experienced horror film fans who must see all. Everyone else, beware. I mean it. Beware. It makes Necromantic look like Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farms. It makes Cannibal Holocaust look like Bambi. It makes I Spit on Your Grave look like Love Story. It makes Guinea Pig look like a Care Bears movie. You dig? So that's my style.
See, and that first of all, you guys, there's more of that in the book. Go get it. And that makes me want to watch that movie. It makes it sound.
And I did my job.
There you go. That's.
Well, I write about, like I say, I write that way. The thing is that I write with enthusiasm.
Yeah. Yep.
For what I'm writing about. I care way too deeply.
Yeah.
Because I care so deeply, that's why,
It's like, just having spoken with you for this short time, you're an enthusiastic guy, so these feel really true to who you are too. So it kind of,
well, thank you.
Feel it through the thing.
You get that with age, buddy.
Yeah.
Get that with age.
Get more excited as you age. But
you want me to read you another one?
I think listeners would like to hear another one. What do we got? Sell them another movie.
This is a great one. This is a great one. This is a movie called Devil's Story.
Okay.
1986. Also known as What the Fuck Did I Just Watch? My title. Directed by Bernard Lanois. I blame my pal Art Ediger for all this. He had posted something about this film, and I listened to Art, so I bought it. This is all in capitals. This is, bar none, the strangest gore film I have ever seen from France. I loved it. To try and explain the plot is an act of futility, but I'll give it a semi-try. It begins with a series of horrible, bloody, gory, knife and spiked glove murders perpetrated on some outdoor campers by a truly bizarre-looking, deformed-faced guy wearing a Nazi jacket and constantly grunting. I mean it. It just starts like that. Boom! From then on, it follows a fever dream logic that is fascinating in its ambiguity and strangeness. After watching this dude stumble around groaning during the credit sequence, we see a young couple in a Mercedes who get a tire blown out. The woman wanders from the car, sees a black cat, starts screaming, and ends up with her hands all scarred and bleeding. Her husband catches up with her, and she is totally freaked, and yet her hands are now okay. It's obvious this woman has some mental issues, which I'll explain. I believe all this is going to, has some mental issues, which will explain, I believe, all that is to come. This woman has some mental issues, which I believe will be explained as we go along. They end up at this fabulous Baroque and eerie castle where the ever-popular horror staple organ of Bach's Toccata in D minor, you know what that is? So that's playing. That's Toccata in D minor, is always playing. This old couple that owns it lets them stay the night. The woman wakes up hearing a horse whinny. It is this beautiful black horse that's trotting around outside the castle. The horse, I assume, is some kind of representation of evil. It's never explained, like most everything else. She goes outside in her little sexy nightgown to check out what's happening, and this is where the film loses all sense of earthly logic. I won't explain any further because you need to see this yourself. Suffice to say, the scenes that follow are replete with all kinds of gore, which is lovingly held on screen for long, long takes. A mummy, yes, a mummy, a zombie boat, a doppelganger, an attempted premature burial, tons of screaming, and assorted other illogical, yet vastly entertaining, for me at least, situations. It felt a lot like a Jean Rollin film on acid and quaaludes at the same time. I watched it mouth agape with sheer delight and revulsion. What a movie! Holy, what the fuck? If you're a horror film junkie and completist like me, it just has to be seen. I mean it. Kudos to Vinegar Syndrome for releasing this strange and incredible cinematic freak show oddity. Wow. Apparently, this was created to compete with all the other 80s gore films that flooded the world market. The director, Bernard Launay, says he wanted to make a horror film better than anything out there. After all, the French created cinema, quote unquote. Well, he accomplished something. What I don't know, but I'm glad he did it. The 4K print is beautiful. The extras plentiful, including a cool doc on the making of the film that features interviews with the director, fans, and a crew. Frank Henelhotter approves it and gives it high praise and bewilderment. Hey, if Frank digs it, it's got to be good. Has anyone else seen this? What's your take?
So, when are you going to record the audio version of the book?
Yeah, well, being a radio guy, it's easy for me, but I didn't have any plans on doing that.
No?
There's no money in it, dude.
Right. I think it'd just be fun to hear for.
Well,
so.
what a lot of people always say to me is that I write the way I talk.
Right. That's what I mean. Like they're you. These reviews are just you sharing your.
There's a great there's some wonderful quotes of people that read the book.
Right.
Tom Savini read it and he said, "One thing that can't be denied, Dennis knows his stuff. During the 30 plus years I've known him, I've always enjoyed his genre writing. His enthusiasm and love for horror films is infectious. If you're a horror film fan, there's lots to learn and enjoy in this wonderful book by one of the genre's most respected critics. It's also a lot of fun to read." Chris Alexander, who's a director and also the editor of Delirium, he wrote, "These pages, they're Dennis's skin. The ink is his blood, the binding his body, and the words his soul."
I love it. Love it.
Tony Timpone, who used to be the editor of Fangoria, said, "Exploitation film fans will flip for this book, a deep dive into Grindhouse and beyond."
That's pretty good reviews.
A passionate blood red journey, a lifetime of obsession between two covers. So yeah.
I like it. See, I like a good review that feels like somebody, a real person, is telling me, not like pretentious. Like, no, I want to feel. I want the dude next door to tell me to watch the movie and tell me about the movie, not just some.
I started the book with all reviews. I mean, these are just all the reviews I got. And then when it came out, it kept getting 5 stars on Amazon. And I said, man, I gotta have a bad review. You can't have 5 stars. I want a bad review. And for my sins, I got one. Someone gave it 1 star. Their complaint was spelling errors. And, like one time I'll write Blu-ray with capital B, another time I do it with a small b, like stupid ass shit.
Dumb things.
Cares about.
You asked for it and they gave it to you.
He destroyed it. He fucking destroyed it. And I read it and I laughed and it brought my rating down to a 4.5 stars. But that's all right. I'm human.
Yeah.
I'll take 4.5.
The next book, you should print that review in the book.
Right. The I'll take 4.5 because anybody that goes to the page is going to see nothing but 5-star reviews. There's just
Yeah.
one. And you know how they give you the list? You
Yeah.
see five. So the top is going to be 5-star, and then there's going to be one. So you got to think to yourself, that guy must be a real asshole.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like he picked apart your grammar rather than the content, though. So that's
It's
cool. He didn't
it's
attack that, so that's nice.
I've always put passion, my love of something. I get excited about things, bro.
Yeah.
Life is short. You never know when you're going to get hit by that bus. You never know what the fuck. I mean, what I'm going through right now with this torn meniscus in my knee and other ailments like diabetes and all the other shit that I'm dealing with as a 65-year-old American man.
Yeah.
Are plenty of things that I could sit around and bemoan and be upset about. Or you could just say, look, I'm glad to be alive. I'm glad I get up every morning and I'm breathing. I'm glad that I'm not, I'm glad that I have a good prognosis, that my knee will be better. And after the surgery, I'll be in great shape.
Yeah.
So that's the way I like to look at things.
Yep.
And then, the word that I feel very honored that people say about my writing is that it's infectious. That's a good word, and I don't feel like I'm sounding egotistical because I'm only repeating what others have said, not me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, infectious is a good
I'm
one.
astonished anybody gives a shit, quite frankly. I'm astonished you give a shit wanting me on your show.
Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. Like,
I mean, I was just sitting here scratching my balls, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden
there you
now
go.
I'm on a podcast. Wow.
Well, I'm glad you stopped scratching them before you came
Well,
on.
I did you that honor.
I mean, it's audio. People are only gonna hear it, but I can
Want to
still
hear
see
me
you.
scratch my balls, folks?
Yeah, some of the
Anyway,
stuff we've talked about on here, it's yeah, we talked about some weird shit on the show. Um, so what's some of the other stuff you do? I know you've done some directing as well.
well, for a living, I'm in the advertising business. I was a radio disc jockey and a producer for over 30 years. I've been in advertising even longer. Right now I'm directing more than anything. I've been directing national spots for a lot of different clients and doing a lot of writing, a lot of voice work. You know, uh, that's how I make a living.
Right.
Because you can't make a living writing about horror movies, let me tell you, dude.
Yeah, no.
But the great thing is that I love what I'm doing. I absolutely adore what I do.
Right.
And because I've been doing it so long, it's like water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
The only thing that's important for me is I got to stay on top of the latest thing.
Yeah.
Because
Constant evolution.
traditional
Yeah.
advertising is dead. People
Right.
don't do commercials anymore for TV or radio.
Yeah.
Everything is social media. That's how you get to people.
Yep.
People don't listen to the radio.
No. No.
They listen to their podcast, or they listen to Sirius, or they listen to Spotify or whatever.
It's hard enough to get them to stop long enough to listen to podcasts and
Right. Yeah, sure. I'm sure.
They just like they like things in small chunks, like TikTok videos. They like 60 seconds is the end of their attention span nowadays, which is scary.
15 seconds. 15.
Yeah.
How about 15? How about 10 seconds?
Yeah.
I do commercials that are 10 seconds long. And I love it because I have to always think of clever ways to get people's attention.
In a short time. Yeah, that's hard work.
No, not at all.
You don't think so?
Nope, not in the least. Because one of the things with me is that because I always like to be riding the wave of the zeitgeist. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very aware of what's going on. Therefore, I'm plugged into the zeitgeist, so I know what I need to do to attract people because I'm watching what other people are doing to attract people.
Okay.
And there's nothing new under the sun, bro.
No, everything is kind of comes back around, or it's recycled.
And because I'm a cinephile, I mean, I write about horror movies, but I love all cinema,
Yeah,
all. And
right,
because I'm a cinephile, I have a tremendous pool to draw from
right,
for inspiration, for ideas, for camera angles, for thoughts, I mean, I am movies are my life.
right. So
Movies,
have you
movies and music, movies and music.
have you thought about making that step in directing a feature or anything?
Nope, not in
No.
the least. Nope,
No.
nope, not at all. Uh, Several reasons. Reason number one, I get to say action more than any guy that's trying to make a movie. I say it constantly because I'm constantly making little 30-second, 15-second. And sometimes I do things that are longer. There are things that are web oriented. Companies like to have documentaries about like I am constantly directing. And it doesn't make any difference to me whether what I'm directing is a 30-second commercial or whether it was a 2-hour movie. It doesn't make any difference to me. I have the thrill of saying action. I have the thrill of casting and writing, and I've done everything. I've done horror movie oriented commercials, hundreds of them.
Okay.
I could play with genre.
Right.
I don't need to make a movie.
Right.
I've acted in other people's films,
Right.
but I don't need to make a movie now.
Okay.
I do not have the urge to do that. There have been people that have wanted to collaborate with me and do stuff. But there's only so many hours
Just
in a day, man.
yeah.
And like I said, the market is flooded.
Yeah.
There's a million fucking movies
And
out
you
there.
don't want to put so much of like your heart and soul into something for it to just get lost in the shuffle.
Look at
Even if
how,
it's good, yeah.
yeah, look at how the major studios barrage you with publicity. Like Superman's a perfect example. You couldn't get the fuck out of Superman's way. No matter how hard you tried, they were shoving Superman up your ass on
Yeah.
Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter, on fucking Ugatsun Ghoul, on Reddit, on fucking Superman.
Yeah. Yep.
Because they didn't want it to fail.
Nope. Nope.
Think of the other movies that have been flooded and they have failed. These are major studios spending millions of dollars in advertising. What fucking shot have you got with your little film that won an award at some small film festival? You have to be happy. If you're going to make a movie, you got to do it for you.
Yeah.
Do it entirely for yourself. Don't do it thinking you're going to become famous or that it's going to lead to, I mean, I don't want to kill anybody's dreams. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm speaking really for myself, honestly. But, bro, anybody can make a movie. How many people are making movies with their phones now? Hundreds.
Yeah.
Major Hollywood directors like Steven Soderbergh. He's made 2 films already with his fucking phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody is media savvy. Everybody is doing this.
Yeah. Exactly.
Selfies, videos. And when you see videos that people take, 90% of them, they have no aesthetic. They have no nothing. They have no cinematic eye. It's all fucking all over the place and crap.
Yeah, that's you must have been checking out my social medias then, because it sounds like so all the stuff you've done, writing, directing, acting, is there anything that you haven't done that you really want to do someday? It don't even have to be in entertainment.
You
Just
know, you know, I often say this, and I mean it. If I got hit by a bus tomorrow, I'd have no regrets. Every single thing that I set out to do through the grace of God and through luck and through hard work, I've been able to do. I've won what they call the Clio Award, which is the Oscar of advertising. It's the
Right.
highest award you can win in advertising. It's the Oscar.
Yeah.
So in my chosen field, I've won the highest award you could win. Now, again, I'm not saying that to be egotistical. I'm just saying that that's a very gratifying to like. There's some people that say, "Boy, I would sure love to win an Oscar. Or I'd love to win a Clio." Well, I did it.
Yeah.
I would like for my books to be read more. I think it would be great if I could get my books read more. I wanted to do a movie of my book, and I shot some scenes for it. I posted them on my YouTube page, scenes from the film. And I also did a lot of reviews on my YouTube page. And I did them very professionally, Steve. Like I did them green screen. I mean, they really came out incredible, but they took forever to do.
Yeah.
And as professional as they are, and they really are, I got like 300 hits.
It's like you
Why am
say,
I doing this? It doesn't matter. I mean, if I got 10,000 hits, fucking, hey, great. 300 hits, not worth it. Not worth
Yeah.
it. Because there are people out there that are just poking the phone at themselves, talking about a movie, and they've got 100,000 followers, and they're not
Mhm.
doing anything special, nothing.
Yeah.
The thing looks
Exactly.
like shit, and
Yeah.
they've got. So why am I bothering? I'm not going to do that. If I do it, it ain't going to be me pointing at the phone.
Right.
So
So you're content where you're at. I like it.
I'm
It's
very
it's a good place
content.
to be.
I wanted to write a book. I've written 6 books. I wanted to write for some of the biggest magazines in the world. I still do,
Right.
from Fangoria on down. I've wanted to have the respect and love of my peers. I do.
You've been nominated for multiple Rondos. That is our peers. You know what I mean? That's our peers seeing what we do and saying, "Hey,
And,
I
and the other
respect
thing
this
is
guy."
that for the
Yeah.
most part, I would say like 99% of everybody I know that's a peer, they're great people. I adore them. We're close
Yeah.
friends. There's
Yeah.
always one or two assholes,
Yeah. This is true. This is true.
always.
Yep.
But that that happens everywhere. But the friends
Yeah.
I have in the industry and the friends that I have in the genre are very, very dear to me. And some of them are some of the biggest names, and some of them are some of the smallest names. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I love what I do, and I've been very lucky that people like what I do, and that someone said, "Yes, Dennis, what you write and how you write is good enough to publish. Let me publish your book." Because again, as I said, anybody could publish a book.
Yeah. Yep.
But when a
It's true.
publisher publishes your book, it's different.
Yeah. And that they came to you and said, "I like this.
Right.
I want to do this." That's
Exactly. And a
that's
book,
huge.
I still think a book rises above anything else, even though these days that's not the case.
Right.
People just read Kindle, or people don't even read books. And I have a Kindle version of my book, but I'm saying you have to.
Right.
But I like to hold, to me, it's so honorable to say a book
Yeah.
in a shelf, a fucking book. What I grew up with.
Yeah. I love. Yeah, I'll take
And
a book
I had
any
a lot of
day
fun.
over.
I had a lot of fun with the cover. My friend Simon Pritchard, who did the cover for that magazine we're both involved in, Space Monsters, he did the cover of my book.
Right. Right.
And I drew it for him. I told him exactly what I wanted him to do. And I gave him the pictures of everybody and where I wanted them in the painting. He just did so we collaborated on it.
Nice. It is a cool cover too, though. I'm looking forward to getting my copy. The best way for listeners to get a copy is directly through you. There's
Right.
other ways they can find it, but get it through you. That way
If
we
you get
know.
it through me, I could sign it for you, and I make the most money because through Amazon, they get a cut.
Yeah,
And fuck Amazon.
pretty much. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was gonna get to that one, but
So it's Kinski Love 9,
yep.
KINSKILOVE9, KinskyLove9 at gmail.com if you want a book. And I also did a magazine called Cinema Macabre, which is basically a continuation of the book.
Okay. And we are going to make sure I'm going to put your email in the episode notes so people can
Okay, great.
find
Great.
you that way. Where are other places people can keep up on what you're doing?
Well, the best
Social
thing is to go to
medias, you got a website?
my Facebook page.
Facebook, yeah.
My Facebook page is like my diary of my life kind of thing. And I put all kinds of things on there. I put when I'm directing commercials, I put movie reviews, I put behind the scenes stuff. I recently posted a whole bunch of stuff when I was behind the scenes at when they made Two Evil Eyes.
Okay.
You know, me talking to Dario Argento and George Romero and all this great stuff and the makeup guys and what they did and yeah, so you know, I have a lot of that kind of stuff too that's out there. But the Facebook, it's all on the Facebook page.
Facebook's the way to go. Okay, so we'll link that up
Yeah,
too.
just go Dennis Daniel. You'll find me. You can't miss me because this image of me from the cover is my picture.
Yeah.
So you got to look for a zombie with white eyes, and you know it's me.
You know it's him. And before we wrap, is there anything coming down the pike that you got going on that you're working on or coming soon?
Well, I have a lot of things that I'd like to do. I've been so busy with my advertising career that I haven't, but I want to do a chat book on David Lynch because I've done a lot of writing about David Lynch.
Right.
You know, I interviewed David Lynch. That's on YouTube as well. And I'd love to just take everything that I've written because I've written a lot about him. Just take all that and put it in a little chat book. I wanted to do a book about my 4 favorite exploitation directors: Jean Rollin, Joe D'Amato, Jess Franco, and you know, just do an overall all their films, why they're important, all that stuff. But again, it takes a lot of time, and I only have so many hours in a day. And besides, this book still has a lot of life left in it. It just came out last year, so
yeah, we just got a couple more years to hype that one.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. And it's timeless, you know. Like you say, it's
movie reviews
a
and movie
book.
review.
100%.
What people love about it mostly, what most people tell me they love about it, like I say, is that it's infectious, that they can see my enthusiasm, and also they love the fact that they're being turned on to movies they never heard of before. Because they read, like you said, I read you the review and you said, I want to see that. Well, that's what this book is. This entire book is, I want to see that.
Yeah, that's what we need. I mean, you gave me some homework here that I got to get to work on here soon.
Better.
Is there anything you want to throw out there before we wrap it up and call it an evening?
No, I think I pretty much have said everything I could say, except if people want the book, it's like I said, it's $30 plus shipping, and the magazine is $15 plus shipping. And you know, I would love for people to if they like what we're talking about here and they like what they're hearing, I think they'd enjoy the book very much.
I think the sample reviews probably sold a few, so
I hope so.
Well, all right, Dennis Daniel, thank you for hanging out, man. I know
Thanks for asking me, bro. Thanks
took a while to get this together, but we'll come up with something cool. We'll come up with a fun topic, and we'll dig in here again sometime soon.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Heal fast. Get that knee fixed. Heal fast.
Thank
get back
you.
in action, and we will see you around. And if you guys listening, go follow him on Facebook. He posts a lot of cool stuff over there, and get the book.
Hey, this is Dr. Gangrene. You're watching the Steve. No, you're not. You're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show right here on whatever network you're on. I don't know what you're on. Don't ask me. I can't see what you're doing, but keep listening and tune in next week for more cool content on the Steve and Crypto Show.
All right, y'all. I am back. We are back. Crypto Zoo is here in spirit, as always. So yeah, as I mentioned at the top of the show, keep supporting and promoting the Steve and Crypto Show. Patreon, merch, social media, share, subscribe, review, rate the episodes, all that stuff. It all really helps. Thanks again to Dennis Daniel. You guys go track down his book, order it directly from him so he can sign it for you. And of course, he gets more of the money. You get it on Amazon or something, you don't hardly get shit for it. So go directly to him. Those links, the email and stuff for Dennis will be in the episode notes here. So go get it, support it. It's going to be a cool book. I'm waiting on my copy. But, I mean, he even gave us samples of it. You guys heard him read a couple of his reviews. Those are freaking hilarious and real. And I love that. But, anyways, it is spooky season. I guess I'm getting excited. We have conventions coming up. We got the Halloween Expo in Spokane, Washington in October, mid-October. Lots of cool guests going to be there, which we'll start hyping that pretty soon. A whole bunch. And right after that, we have the Grit City Comic Show, which is kind of like our home convention. That's coming too. It's going to be good. There's a couple cool guests going to be there. Nothing too horror themed, but there's going to be some really cool pop culture guests like Dave Warren, who is like an Emmy. This is rumor. Don't quote me on this, but I heard that Dave Warren, the Emmy-winning animator from The Simpsons, is going to be joining us. And our buddy Melanie Cohn is going to be there, who was the voice of Lucy from the Peanuts cartoons in the 70s. And a ton of great comic artists and people, and there's always good vendors. And one cool thing I love about Grit City Comic Show is they actually fucking have comic books. Like for real comic books. Not like going to Comic-Con where there's minimal and it's all pop culture stuff, which I love. Excuse me. But there's for real comic books. So stay tuned. We'll be hyping those conventions and other stuff that comes up because it's about that time of year for shit to get popping. And with all that being said, we thank you guys for listening. Us have been the Steve and Crypto Show. Happy spooky season, y'all.